Inspired by the life of the savvy and ambitious Colombian businesswoman Griselda Blanco comes a new Netflix original limited series. Griselda tells the story of a devoted mother who, with her lethal blend of charm and relentless savagery, creates one of the most powerful cartels in history. Witness Sofia Vergara's captivating transformation into the godmother of the underworld. Griselda, streaming January 25th, only on Netflix.
Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of No Waco. This is your host, Debbie. Welcome back to another episode of No Waco. I'm your host, Debbie, and today we have a very special guest here in the studio. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up? My name is Ryan. I go by Ryan the Sun. You can call me Rye if you want, but yeah, that's me. I'm born and raised Houston, Texas. Currently live in Waco. Travel a lot.
Yes.
And I'm a music artist, songwriter. Recently became an actor.
Ooh.
And an author.
Yay.
Amongst other things. I think I'm just ADD as far as I am I could just say I am ADD and it kind of.
It covers everything, right?
But yeah, that's me.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for coming into the studio today. I'm so glad you're here to promote all the exciting things you have coming up. Mm-hmm. One of the first questions I ask our guests is, what brought you to Waco, or are you Waco native? I know you already kind of answered it, but tell me your Waco journey.
Yeah, so I've lived in Waco for, it's weird to say, like a little under a decade now.
Wow.
It's strange.
Makes you feel old, huh?
Yeah, it does. So, drifted in and out. But I came here for an education for Baylor University. I was a basketball player and student. And then after a little bit of time, I just became a student. Basketball ended. A lot of things changed, but that's a whole nother podcast. It's kind of why I'm where I am today. But then after school, I left and went to Austin for a little bit and lived there. It was great. And then I went back to Houston. I lived overseas and in Greece. I've been to a couple places like Mongolia, Russia, Greece. Greece was the most recent place. I had lived outside of the United States for disaster relief work. After doing that work in the refugee crisis, I moved back here to kind of recover and rest with no guardrails on how to do that. But again, another podcast. And then I ended up just staying here. Cost of living is great. At least it was. The community here was a great community. It's kind of like grow. It's a great place to just grow anything, whether it's yourself or your craft. And so I just kind of stayed and grew and then tried to be an instrument of growth. And that's why I'm still here.
I love that. That's amazing. And it's so funny how your story resonates with so many other people I have on the podcast. They come here for school or they come here for another reason. And then they leave and they take that knowledge and they go into the world and they have experiences. But then they bring that culture and that diversity back to Waco. It's so amazing seeing how we're a melting pot and how everybody's bringing those different life experiences from all over, but then landing here. And then just kind of, I'm not going to say being stuck in Waco. That's a negative connotation. But just coming here and being able to enhance our culture through that. And with that, you do music and you've started amazing organizations and spoken word groups. So tell me all about that.
Yeah. So I'll start with just a little, because it can seem without this foundational vein of thought, it could seem a little all over the place. There's this quote that I love called, it says, "Poetry is the sea of all songs."
Ooh.
And
Snaps.
I have found that to be so true because I've navigated in and out of so many different art crafts, but they all kind of have a bedrock of poetry and lyricism, whether you add sound to it or not. And that's how I process, like, when I'm really going through something I don't understand, that's how I understand where I should stand in the misunderstanding, if that makes sense. So, like, how I navigate the confusion is through spoken word or writing words or writing poetry. And early on in my career, friends were kind of my lifeline to keep doing that and learning how to do it. And a lot of friends helped me when I was transitioning from being just an athlete to a creative. It's a huge learning curve, kind of. And having friends that are creative just helped me keep being that and keep growing as that. And so that inspired me to just kind of pay that forward in a way. And just, I think I've learned that the best things are kind of created when the end goal is like, look what we did, as opposed to just look what I did. And yeah, it's always better when you do it with multiple people.
I love that.
And so that's when we
Community.
started some of the, like, community groups for creatives here. Really organically, just because I never want to force anything, you know. But yeah, Growing Pens, the writers community, Collide is kind of like the DNA of it all, but that's neither here nor there. That was a journey. And then just different events that are still community centered, like Good Work and other things, but that's besides the point. Yeah, that's kind of where, because I was helped by friends, like creating with friends and healed by that, I'm like, I have no choice, it feels like, but to pay it forward, you know. So.
I love that moral obligation for you.
Yeah.
Well, we're so glad you're here in Waco. And we were talking before we got started, like, I can't believe you haven't come on the podcast before. Because you always have stuff going on.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no way. But I'm so glad to finally have you on here to talk about all the things you have going on. So tell me all about it.
Yeah. So lots going on. Honestly, I could go so many different directions. Like, I feel like I need, what do you want to know? Like, where would you like to start?
Well, we know that you just got back from Paris. You've been working on your music. Give me updates on all that.
Music, okay. Yeah, this past year has been, I feel like I've been hibernating and figuring out, recovering from, the last tension of the last couple years in the world, and there still is always stuff going on, but
I think that's everybody.
And so I, as a creative and a recovering athlete, like, it was tough, but it was important for me to kind of hibernate and rest and let a process of recovery happen, and that bred a lot of just a lot of growth, perspective, like deeper knowledge of who I am and like what do I want to be if like life were, like, hypothetically speaking, over in 5 years. Like, what would I want it to be? You know what I mean? And what would I want it to, like, do? And I think the bedrock obviously would be love. Like, I want to be love for people through my art, and that's a very complex thing to try to be. I feel like the older I get, because there's so much so many different emotions you got to go through to get there, and so many perspectives. It's just so many things to get there. And so anyway, all that to say that my process in the past 2 years has been a lot of hibernation, and through that, probably up until like 2 weeks ago, I didn't feel fully like all the things that I had gathered in that time clicked yet. But literally maybe like 2 weeks ago, I was like, oh, I know I know why I'm writing this, and why I produced that, and why my songs have this sound, and why some of them sound way over here, some of them sound way over here. And anyway, so I've been working on that stuff and, you know, putting out content, but really I've been mainly, because I had to rest, the only way I could rest and still have things being put out there content-wise and letting people know I'm alive is just creating out of expression rather than expectation. So I thought that was just going to be a period of like, you know what, if I want to express it, I'll create. Otherwise, it's going to drain me. Yeah. But now I'm like, wait a minute. Why should I ever stop doing that? You know what I mean?
Yep.
And now that I'm clear on like, man, I have this message that I'm kind of being vague because I don't want to give away everything, but I have this like message of like, you know, mindset and thought and healing that I feel like I'm ready to put dope sonic and even just physical paraphernalia, if you will, to that I'm ready to release, and it's all out of like, man, I can express it in this one direction, in this one lane, and I think it will love a lot of people, you know. So that was super vague, but yeah,
I love
all that to say, I'm almost done with an album. It's probably going to be a 2-part album. It's going to be very like yin yang, dark and light. Like it's going to be the fullness of what dark is and the fullness of what light is, and give a lot of people. I'm really excited to see it give a lot of like people of color that are males that may have been athletes at some point and recovering from seeing the world as like you either win or lose.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see it be a challenge and then also a permission slip for them.
I love that.
Yeah.
That'll be amazing. And you've been doing other events, your spoken word events over at Common Grounds. You just had one in the basement over at Anthem. What are you hoping to do with that?
Yeah, we're going to do that biannually. So semi-annually, is that what that's? 2 times a year. We're going to try to do it every month, but it's an artist-owned and operated thing, so it's just the amount of resources.
We know working with artists.
You know what I'm saying? Like it takes a lot of work, and to do it well, it takes time. And in a city like Waco, you know, people take their time deciding if they want to get to something. So we're giving people more time to like learn about it, see what it is, and decide if they want to go or be a part. And it's called Good Work. The basis of it is like a poetry and music centered space. There are other spaces like it or that do that, but this one I think is unique in its build and in its vibe. It's just like it allows upcoming artists to kind of just really be artists and not just entertainment.
I love that.
As an artist, I know the value of that. And so the next one I'm excited about, it's April 4th. We just locked in the talent. It's going to be, we know that the performer is going to be, I hope, unless something happens between now and then, we're going to have Suede perform.
Love those guys.
I've been waiting to kind of like work with them for a minute. I was kind of MIA for a while, but I love those guys. And I'm excited to see what they do with that space and that vibe. So yeah, Good Work. Growing Pins, we have open mic nights. Growing Pins is a writer community. We have open mic nights. We have a Discord. If you want a way to just
Discord.
Have somebody or a group of friends who encourage you to write in funky, creative ways. We have prompts every week that you can just do. We have a group that's doing NaNoWriMo this month.
Yes.
So if you're in that and you just need to not be alone, join our Discord. And there's just so much coming up with that. But yeah, Growing Pins every month. I think the next open mic night for the poetry group is November 18th and then December 16th. So come through to one of those. And then Good Work April 4th, man.
Whoop, whoop.
You don't want to miss that one.
It's going to be so
As
good.
soon as we drop tickets, like, go get them. Support artists. We don't get paid a lot, and we pay a lot to do what we do.
It's the saying, starving artists
You
for
know
a
what I'm
reason,
saying?
right?
Like, bro, let's not starve anymore.
Yeah.
Guys.
Well, that's amazing. What else do you have going on? Anything else? Any other specific dates you want to share?
Specific dates? Nah, not really. I think
Okay.
everything else is so fluid. I would feel like I'm gonna be a liar later.
You're like, oops, we changed that.
Yeah.
Well, no worries. Well, thank you so much for sharing about this exciting stuff that's coming up and
Mm-hmm.
all the work you've been doing. We're so excited for your album release. It's going to be great getting to
Yeah.
see that,
Yeah, look
seeing
out.
the response to that. It's going to be so
Yes.
fun. But yeah, let's take a quick commercial break and then we'll be right back.
All right.
And now for a word from our sponsors.
Whether you're a diehard sports fan, a hopeless romantic, or a comedy aficionado, the Xfinity 10G network was made for streaming it all. Worry less about buffering when streaming your favorite shows, movies, or live sports and enjoy a better way to watch. Xfinity gives you a reliable connection for streaming plus all the entertainment you love all in one place. Fear not, because now you can finally sit back, relax, and stream your favorite entertainment and sports like never before with the Xfinity 10G network.
And now, back to the episode. Welcome back. So we were just talking about all the exciting events you have coming up, your album release, all of those things. One of the first questions I love to ask when we get back from break is, what is something you would like to see more of in Waco?
Yeah, I think I'd like to see more artists coming together. And I know that sounds like, duh, Ryan, and people are already doing it, but I think there's a deeper level of supporting each other.
Not being starving
Primarily.
artists, right?
Yeah. And, I think I'm just learning how much, and not even just in artist societies, but just in a lot of parts of society, we ask for support or resources outside of the people who get it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a bad thing. Like, we definitely, I think there's so many ways that if you take artists out of the picture, a lot of things don't really happen and thrive.
Yeah.
And that other groups should recognize, and I think artists, we're in a time where we should raise our prices.
Yeah.
But if the situation calls, but at the same time, I think if we within ourselves we sync up, like, hey man, I got this event. Okay, cool. When is that? Because I'm planning an event as well. All right, I'll plan mine a week before, and we'll shout you out.
Yeah.
We'll make sure we shout you out. Maybe we'll give a discount to anyone who buys a ticket at your place. Like that kind of you still have your agency. You still get to pursue your individual dreams, but in the context of we're all in this together, not in the context of, I'll help you just as much as I can to still be ahead of you.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, let's get that. The issue is so much bigger than who you can be better than.
Competition,
it's
community.
Like, how can we impact the world?
Yeah.
World. It starts with your city, but also we're in a time where in your city, if you all came together, you could do something that's viral in the world, that's amazing, it's impactful in the world. And so I think I would love to see our vision get bigger and the gaps between what we're doing get smaller.
I love that.
I know it's easier said than done, but I think it's possible. So
Yeah.
there's no excuse not to do it.
I
I think it's
know.
really as easy as a mental shift.
I love that.
So, yeah.
And with that, it's already the end of 2023. We
Yeah.
are already looking at 2024. What is something you're hoping for? What is one of the goals you have to kind of achieve by the end of year, beginning of next year?
Yeah, so there is a possibility of there's a high possibility of a location change for me, but it won't be too far. So that may tamper with my ability to make local goals. I got to be careful how I make
Hey,
them.
that's all right.
Definitely going to do it and just try to do it until.
Just do it.
But,
Nike.
I think in 2024, I think I would like to see my friends in the artist community all glow up. All I would like to see no more limiting beliefs
Yeah.
by the end of 24. midway through 2024, it's like, yo, if you're not doing it, it's not because you don't think you can do it or you can't. It's because you're already doing something doper that's taking up your time.
I love that.
Right? I think that I sound so philosophical, but like I'm not saying anything that matters.
What's your degree in, Ryan?
I literally, it's in business, which is, I don't know, but my partner is a therapist, so naturally I psychologize everything, if that's even a word. But yeah, I think, man, like honestly, more innovation together. Like I just want to see people innovate, be courageous. All my friends, I want to put courage inside of people. Everyone that I'm working with, I don't want to cap people. I do want to be honest with people. Like I want to see more honesty within our community and love. So yeah, I think in 2024, I'd like to see like, man, what does an artist community look like that has no limiting beliefs, that has no imposter syndrome, that if we do have that, we know how to manage it, call it out, and just be like, okay, let me step back and get back into courage. You know what I mean? So I would like to see that. As far as like events or markets or things, I feel like that is already happening. It's just a matter of how do we innovate that stuff together. So
I love that. That's fantastic. And I mean, you're already so much talking about the community and coming together. Is there anyone you want to shout out that's helped along this journey?
Yeah. Man, I mean, I definitely could not have done half the things that I've done this year without my good friend Julia, my good friend Abby, who you know, boop, boop. Abby Williams, my good friend Darian. He's like, man, he's just a instrument of goodness in my life for sure. Blake Brooks, the best bassist in Central Texas. He's also an incredible producer. And then Richard Thompson, the Waco Street drummer. Love to shout out, obviously, Anthem Stories for letting us see a vision come to life, you know, that people want to be a part of now. I could go on and on because there's so many great people. Yeah.
Don't forget anybody; they'll come for you. No, I'm kidding.
April Neal, I think she is.
Love April.
She's well known as like a entertaining poet, but as a person, I feel like she doesn't get enough public affirmation of how much she's inspired and built up in people. Yeah. She's just one of those people that because of the poise she has towards other artists, you can spend a fourth of the time you spend with someone else, but get like 4 times the amount of benefit and growth from her. So I think April Neal, I'm going to miss somebody and feel like bad later, but just the Growing Pains community, Rich and Fam, they do this thing every first Friday at Thirst, and I think people should go. It's a vibe.
507 Gallery. Shout out Josh.
Man. Like, yes. Cultivate, obviously, 712
whoop, whoop.
For letting us do the open mic nights there. I mean, I feel like I could take up the rest of the podcast doing this, but and then obviously like my wife, man. I gotta shout her out because
the most. She deals with you every day.
Yeah, she deals with me every day. She also deals with a lot of trifling people in the world.
Oof.
And she loves them and me through it all. And I think she is the greatest of all time. Especially my wife has roots in Lebanon and Palestinian ties, and so with everything going on today with that, just watching her through it and how many people she continues to both educate, speak the truth to, and also love. That is honestly the most inspiring thing in my art right now and in my way I'm moving.
Wow.
I feel like I have so much less excuses. So anyway, that'll be my last shout out because she's the greatest.
Oh, and of course, now plug yourself where you can find you, find more about you.
Yes, Ryan the Sun is a great place to start. SON. I'm not trying to be a planet or a star.
I think it's a star.
It's a star. Yeah, see, that's why I don't even know what anyway. So Ryan the Son, Ryan the, and then SON on all platforms. You can find me on Instagram the most. I will start focusing my efforts on like YouTube, seeing how that goes. But Instagram, if you want to hit me up, you want to DM me, please
Slide
do.
in those DMs.
I'm busy, but I'm like not
phone attached.
I'm less busy than you think. So hit me up. I love connecting with people. Yeah, if you want to innovate, if you want to start an idea, let's do it.
Love that.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. Is there anything else you want to share with the people?
I would say this. I would say, if you remember anything today, remember that we have a responsibility to take care of the human race. Like, before we're anything else, we're human. Before anyone in front of you is anything else, they're human. And like, I just encourage everybody right now. There's a lot of noise out there, but listen to the sound of love. Like, love, figure out what it means for you to have to love the human next to you. Like, put aside all the stuff that keeps you from doing that, and like, man, let's build. Don't buy all the crap that media is doing to like kind of divide us. And like, man, let's build. We're so freaking incredible together.
Yeah.
Like, we're so insane, dude. Look at this table. Someone made that. No, I'm just kidding. So I would just say that, man, let's build.
Yes.
Let's build. If you have any assumption about me, let it be that I want to build.
I love
Let's
that.
build.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much again for your time.
Yes, thank you. This was awesome.
Find us everywhere on all social media platforms, KNOW_Waco. Check us out at roguemedianetwork.com, and we're on YouTube under Rogue Media Network. Check out nowaco.com.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.